Hey guys, and welcome back. This is Final Fight Guy, released back in 1994 for the Super NES as a rental exclusive at the time. Final Fight Guy is basically the same game as the regular version of Final Fight, which was released 3 years earlier as a launch title. This particular version works in some minor tweaks and obviously the ability to play as Guy, who was curiously absent from the original Super NES port. The storyline is also pretty much the same as the original game, but modified to now explain why Cody is nowhere to be seen. In a nutshell, an evil gang has taken the mayor's daughter Jessica hostage, and it is now up to you to smash some faces and rescue the ever-helpless girl. You can only select between one of two characters in this version, which include Big Papa / Mayor Elite Mike Hager, and of course the Road Cone Orange Ninjutsu Master Guy. I'm not quite sure why Capcom wouldn't just let us pick between Cody and Guy as opposed to Guy and Hager, but oh well. It doesn't really matter too much since this revision, just like the first, also lacks a two-player mode. The game consists of 5 total stages that you'll have to fight your way through, and just like Capcom's earlier port on the Super NES, the industrial area is nowhere to be found. It's not really something that I personally get too upset about, mind you, since that stage in particular is one of my least favorite stages in any game ever. I kinda like to think instead that Capcom was just doing me a personal favor. New additions to Final Fight Guy include a couple of extra items. You can now pick up a character-specific doll item that will grant you an extra life, and even a Jessica doll that will turn you invincible for a short period of time. The enemy placement is also a bit different as well, and the game overall just feels a bit more balanced as far as the difficulty goes. All of the famous censorship that riddled the original version of Final Fight on the Super NES is just as pronounced here too, which is kind of a bummer since it was 3 years later, back when Nintendo was actually pretty cool about blood and gore. Both Damned and Sodom are renamed to Thrasher and Katana, Roxy and Poison are replaced by 2 guys named Sid and Billy, and the famous Oh My God line after the bonus stage is now Oh My Car. And even the skin tones on certain enemy characters were lightened. I can honestly say that I just don't get it. I mean, it's still a game that's entirely based around punching people in the face. Even if you dress up every character in a flower costume and pigtails and make them as white as possible, since apparently it's totally cool to beat up armies of white people, it's still a game about beating the living hell out of everyone. As far as the controls go, everything does work really well. Guy and Hager both have all of their moves from the arcade version, and everything feels really quick and fluid. Final Fight is basically a 2-button game with 1 attack button and, of course, a jump button. Don't let the simplicity of the control scheme fool you. There are quite a lot of different moves that you can pull off with either character, and both will take some time to completely master. The trick to making it through Final Fight Guy, or the regular Final Fight for that matter, is all about positioning. The enemies in the game love to surround you, and if you can get them all on one side of the screen, it will end up making your job much easier in the long run. Another great trick that I always use is to throw them off screen and then fire away in the corner so that they can't even re-enter. Graphically, Final Fight Guy looks really good, though not really any different than the original port. Capcom did a great job as far as retaining as much of the arcade game's detail as possible on the Super NES, and all of the characters are huge and detailed, as are the stages and backgrounds. The sound and music is alright. While the sound effects and voices are excellent, the toned-down music in this port really hurts its overall quality. Some tracks are better than others, but overall the songs in this game do not even come close to matching the arcade game's standard. So there you have it, Final Fight Guy on the Super NES. It's a good port of Final Fight, but it's really not that much different from the one that was put out 3 years earlier. It's another one of those really expensive games on the system, commanding an average of about $60 to $70 online, and it's really only worth it if you're either a huge fan of the series or just a collector.
The only reason I ended up going for it was just to complete the Final Fight series on the Super NES, but considering that the original game goes for about $10 and under, it's really hard to justify picking this one up. For its usual price tag, you can seriously buy a Sega CD and a copy of Final Fight CD, which, in my opinion, is the best version of Final Fight ever released for a home console.
As always, guys, I'd like to take the time to thank each and every one of you for watching and subscribing. And until next time, stay classic.